talking about getting cheated on. So I was in a relationship with what I would consider at that time the love of my life. I know God has bigger and better things for the queen now because that could not have been it.
Oh my
But
God.
at the time, I was thinking that was the love of my life. We had been together for 2 years. We lived together, and our first year was phenomenal. Our second year was a little mix of phenomenal and hell. Um,
Not hell.
hell. We had a lot of ups and we had probably more downs. We were not really making it. Our relationship was really in struggle bus area. But towards the end of the year, we actually decided that we wanted to stay together and we wanted to fix things, and we were fixing things, and we were really working to stay committed and really like make the relationship work. So I thought. So basically my intuition just jumped off. Like one week, I think it was like around Christmas time. I remember it was around Christmas time. I remember he was working on a Saturday and I had to work later that night as well at the club that I worked at. And I was like, running out and about with my mom and family because it was Christmas. And it was the week before Christmas. And so I expected when I got home at like 8 o'clock that he would be here because he got off of work at 5, and he wasn't. He was actually shopping with a coworker that I never heard her name before. Never. It's a brand new batch. Woo.
Oh my God.
He was with a new girl, a new coworker that he was shopping at the mall with, and he said he was getting gifts.
He probably wasn't a coworker.
Girl. And so he was just like, oh, I'll be home soon. And I'm like, that's not gonna work. Like, my intuition just sprung off. Like, the fuck is you talking about, nigga? Like, what? Why aren't you here?
I would have went to the mall.
It was bad. Like, I knew what mall he was in. I really thought about pulling up. But at that point, I was just like, forget it. Whatever it is, what it is. So at that point, I just was like, you know what? I'm going to like calm down, but I really couldn't calm myself down. So I decided, I'm like, I'm going to look through my closet. I'm going to see if I can find condoms anywhere. Because one thing about him, I felt like whenever we were like first getting into our relationship before we were fully committed, he was very safe. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? If anything, I'm going to find some condoms. Like, I will be able to find it and I'll know he's cheating on me. So I checked the whole closet, couldn't find nothing. I'm like snapping on him. So I'm like, I don't know. Something's not adding up. This ain't adding up. This ain't working. And come to find out, like, he's like, you just need to calm down. Like, he's just like, you need to calm down. It's really not anything going on. Like, I just need you to, like, understand, like, I'm not cheating on you.
Right.
Look me dead in my eyes, right in my pupils. And he's like, you need to calm down. I would never do that to you. Literally. I would never do that to you. And I'm like, okay, so I'm tripping. Mm-hmm. It's me.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. God, one thing about God, he got me. God want me to know something, he want me to know it. And so it just so happened my ex-boyfriend, we worked about a block and a half from each other. And one day he caught an Uber to work and he left his phone in the Uber. And the Uber couldn't figure out what number to call. And apparently, like, I'm his girlfriend. At the time, I was his girlfriend. So I'm all through his call log. I'm all in his text message. So the Uber was like, I'm going to call this girl and see if she knows how I can get the phone to him. Well, when she called me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I work near him. So you can bring the phone to me and I'll get it to him.
Right.
So I get the phone, and I'm not going to lie to you. It felt like God put it in my lap for 2 reasons. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get in touch with his coworkers to find him, to get him his phone. But also, a bitch ain't been feeling right for a minute. So a bitch going to see why the fuck I ain't feeling right. Right. So I go through his text messages. I don't go in like fighting. I just go in with his text messages. Like, let me see if I can find his coworker to tell them, hey, I have his phone. And then, like, if I run into something on the way, then
fuck it.
And lo and behold, I ran into multiple things on the way. I ran into the Dunkin' Donut girl. He apparently in Dunkin' Donuts, the worker gave him her number on a napkin, and he was texting her, and he was like, really thought that was slick how you did that. That was so dope. Like, I really fuck with that.
Nah, it was not dope.
Girl.
That was lame.
He was texting girls from his job. They were talking about how I existed. But, yeah, you do exist. Well, basically, this is kind of how the conversation went. I know that you have a girlfriend and, she exists in the flesh. But, I really wish, like, we could be, like, more than friends. But maybe we could still be friends. And he's like, oh, no, we could definitely still be friends. And, you never know what's going to happen in the future. You giving hope to bitches?
He definitely was giving them hope.
You serving hope on a platter and we talking about rings? We talking about rings? This wasn't practice, nigga. Practice? We was talking about marriage and you over here giving bitches hope. Okay, that's why this is your tape. This is your 13th reason why. And then the icing on the cake, the ex-girlfriend that I thought You told me I had nothing to worry about. And I said, stop talking to her. Because at a certain point, I was like, I know I have something to worry about.
Right.
The ex-girlfriend was sending you pictures of her son, talking about, look at your stepson, asking if I was asleep, when I was asleep, so that you could sneak out the house to go see her. And you were sending her pictures of your fresh cut. You, my friend, are fucking ridiculous for that shit. You really fucking need help. This bitch had nothing on me. Right. And I rarely talk like that. But I want it to be known because sis, and I can't really call you sis, I'm sorry. Ma'am, I still have a little bit of smoke for you.
Bitch.
It's been a couple years.
Ain't no ma'am.
Seriously.
Like,
But when it comes down to it, you haven't, it's been a couple years. I'm way far removed from that relationship, but I really did not like the way that I was disrespected in that. And I really felt like you really went out of the way to try to get what you thought was your man back. But I'm pretty sure we both know that's not your man, right? You didn't get him back ever, right? I don't want him back, but you couldn't get him back. God forgive me. But anyways, pulling back into the story, this is basically how it went. I ended up seeing that I was able to confirm he was still fucking his ex-girlfriend. So not only was he entertaining bitches, but he was fucking his ex-girlfriend. And at that point, I was like, come get your fucking phone before I fucking throw this shit out the fucking window. And when he came to get his phone, the conversation was real quick. It was real through my teeth. I like to talk like this. You were fucking cheating on me with your fucking ex-girlfriend. You were fucking texting a bitch from fucking Dunkin' Donuts. You were fucking with bitches that you fucking work with. You need to get your shit. You need to get the fuck out the house. All this while going down the escalator.
And he's probably in front like, oh my God.
He was just like, what can I do? Like,
all right, nigga, you caught red-handed.
You're busted.
You should have left. That phone and that Uber was a sign. And since the Uber person definitely gonna call any other numbers, they weren't saved.
Right.
You probably love Misha or Babe.
Yeah, it was Babe in the phone. So they knew, like, who to reach out to. And the funny part was, like you said, like, you took your man back. I took mine back. Right. I didn't let him stay in the house. My peace was very important to me at that time. I actually, after that breakup, because we were so close and because the relationship for me, I thought that was my end all be all. I couldn't sleep for a minute. I couldn't eat for a couple of days. I was all messed up. I couldn't focus at work. I left work early and was crying. Like, it really broke my heart that somebody I cared about that much and would have done anything for felt like they couldn't just be honest with me about where they were at. Felt the need to do me dirty. Right. Just couldn't even, as much as we've been through together,
someone
it was wild that you did that.
You just give your all to, just turns around and slaps you right in the face. Like,
right.
Like you were never anything. Like, nigga, what?
Exactly.
And that's what hurts the most. Like,
right.
For real.
And when it came down to it, did I try to work it back out? Like, once he moved out the house, we did try to work it out a couple times, and it was just like, it wasn't like same shit like he was cheating on me, but it was just like, we were never going to get back to that place. We were never going to be able to see eye to eye. And honestly, I was never going to be able to get over it. And he was just like, it was like we were trying to act like new versions of us were showing up, but we weren't.
But at least y'all tried, and it didn't work. So obviously it was meant to be for y'all to be separated. So
right.
You can just grow more as a woman.
And I did.
And grow better.
And I did.
Okay.
And
That's
did.
What I like
all of that. Because one thing I will say, it created a better version of me.
Right.
I feel like back then I was really into making sure that, like, everybody around me was taken care of and everything around me was just, like, in a good spot and everybody was happy. And now I'm more about my happiness.
Right.
I'm more about me.
Your peace.
My peace, my happiness. I'm giving a better version of me to the next man that deserves me. And I'm making sure that the next man that gets me deserves me.
Amen.
And that he is not somebody that I have to worry about. And I thank my ex-boyfriend for that because honestly, I don't think when I was dating him, I think I was kind of in a spot where I just really, really, really wanted us to work. Right. And I was willing to take a lot that I normally wouldn't have taken.
Right. Ooh.
I let that relationship convince me that it was worth fighting for, when in reality, we're worth fighting for. Right. I'm worth fighting for my damn self.
Right.
So I'm glad that relationship woke me up, and I do truly, on some Crystal Renee shit, wish that man the best. He knows I wish him the best, and he knows that I'm still rooting for him in life. But we are, in the words of Taylor Swift,
we are never, ever, ever
getting back together. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. You messed up, the best of luck. I hope that you are okay. But we are never, ever, ever
what?
Getting back together.